Simplifying rational expressions is similar to factoring rational expressions. What does that mean? That means I'm going to factor something, and when I factor it, I'm going to see that I have a common factor and I can cancel them out. So for instance, if I were to have 3x minus 9 over 2x minus 6, I'm going to factor the numerator and the denominator. So looking at the numerator, I know that I have a 3 in common that I'm going to pull out. So then I'm left with 3 times parenthesis x minus 3. On the denominator, I have a 2 in common. Well, what's left over? X minus 3. Well, looking at this, I see that I can cancel out that x minus 3. So then my answer is what's left over. What's left over is the 3 over 2. Okay, so you have to factor it first and then cancel out what it is you need to. Sometimes that you will have a quadratic, sometimes you might have something larger than that. It just depends. So for instance, let's do another one of these. Let's say that I have a 7x minus 14 all over negative x plus 2. So go ahead and simplify this down. I'm going to go ahead and factor the top part. I see that I have a 7 in common, so it's x minus 2. Now, when I first look at this, my goal here is to get an x minus 2 or a 7. So looking at the denominator, I know for sure that I'm not going to have a 7, but I can get an x minus 2 if I factor out a negative 1. That's then going to cancel out, and I'm going to have 7 over negative 1, which is negative 7. Let's get a little bit trickier in the sense that we're going to be working with bigger simplification. So let's say 3x squared plus 3x all over 6x squared plus 9x. Okay, I'm going to factor out my common term on the top, so I've got a 3x in common. I'm left with x plus 1. In the denominator, I have a 3x in common again, and I'm left with 2x plus 3. Looking at this, my parentheses don't cancel out, but the 3x does, and I'm left with x plus 1 over 2x plus 3. Okay, so in this case, we didn't come down to just a regular number. We were still left with a polynomial, but it worked out. There will be times when you do have to factor. So for instance, I have x squared minus 25 all over x squared plus x minus 20. So it might take a little bit for you to factor. You might have to factor using AC, you might not. It just depends. Looking at my top one, I'm going to have x minus 5 times x plus 5. Okay, so you might have to factor using AC. And we just got done working with quadratics that you had to factor using AC. So I'm not going to go through this process because we've done this. So I have x minus 5 and x plus 5 on the top. On the bottom part, I'm going to have x minus 4 times x plus 5. Looking at this, I know that the x plus 5 cancels. So my final answer is than x minus 5 over x minus 4. So I have one more for you. For this one, I'm going to have 6x squared minus 54 all over 4x squared minus 36. Good luck. So to start with, I'm going to factor out my numbers, and if I can simplify the polynomial after that, then I will. For the top one, I can factor out that 6, so I'm left with x squared minus 9 over the denominator. I'm going to factor out that 4, then I'm left with x squared minus 9. Well, the x squared minus 9 cancels. I'm left with 6 over 4, but this isn't in simplest form. I need to reduce that to 3 over 2.